Intonation for me is the most important thing that you can do right as a singer. Intonation is everything. When your pitch is off, it doesn't even matter what else you do. It's not going to sound right. How can you improve your intonation and pitch control? That's what we're going to talk about today, so stay tuned. I'm going to go through a list of things you can do to improve your intonation and accuracy in singing, because when it comes down to it, that's what makes a great singer. Number 1, do ear training and train your intervals. It is so important to know your intervals, to feel and to hear the difference. So whenever you have a major third, ba, ba, you want to know how that feels in your voice. How far is that major third up away from that lower pitch? And what does it feel like? What does it sound like? Interval training is such an important part of ear training. I can't stress enough. It's going to help you so much when you know your intervals, because every single piece of music is made up of intervals. When you go from one pitch to the next as the melody line progresses, it's always a very specific interval, and you want to be accurate. There are apps out there where you can train intervals. I will try to find some and link them up below, and really make this a routine to where you become firm, and also do ear training exercise. A great exercise is to actually listen and repeat to a short melody line or like pattern. Listen, repeat, and see if you can memorize. Pitch memory is really important to really reproducing and just actually creating what you have heard. Number 2, record yourself. That happens to me all the time. Sometimes I think I was right on, and when I was in the studio, the producer says, "You were just a little flat here." And while I was singing, I did not hear that, because the way my voice is, and it's right in my head, and my ears are also in my head, it's sometimes not so easy to hear if you're perfectly intonating. So listen to yourself and be critical. When you're even the slightest bit off, be critical. It's not good enough to be the slightest bit off. You want to be accurate. Train yourself to also listen to other singers. Listen to details. Listen to, is the pitch steady? Is it a little sharp? Is it a little flat? Even when you hear instruments play. When the guitarist, oh my goodness, it makes me cringe when a guitar isn't quite tuned 100% correctly, because I can hear it. My piano here right now, it's not tuned well, and I sing so much better when it is freshly tuned. So listen to those details, record yourself, listen to yourself, be critical, and figure out if you can even hear the difference. Really important. And if you can't, maybe you can have someone help you who is a little bit more advanced in hearing things. And that's, of course, where a good vocal coach comes in. They can help you figure out if you have the tendency to be flat or sharp or whatever it is. The next thing is, make sure you have an accurate onset. A lot of times intonation issues arise when you don't have a clean onset. When you slide up and you go like, yeah, and then the pitch is already over. When it's a short pitch, you need to make sure sometimes you really shoot for it right away, that right from the get-go, it is accurate. Make sure that onset is like you want it to be. Don't be sloppy, be accurate. Which brings me to my next point. When you slide and slur, you don't want to just guesstimate and be all over the place. When you slide and slur, and even when you do lots of ad-libs and tons of moving around and even melismas, what you want to do is still make sure that you're communicating the pitches you actually mean. So whenever you're sliding up, don't go, yeah, 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 yeah. It's like nobody knows, but go, yeah, 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 yeah. There is a way to slide and slur in an accurate way to where everybody perceives the actual pitch that is part of the melody, and that the sliding and slurring only leads to those pitches, versus the sliding and slurring is very accented and it's just all over the place, and the actual pitch is only very shortly heard or not at all. Another thing that's really going to help you is to use vibrato, whether you have a natural vibrato or you're trying to learn it. Vibrato really helps you find the average of a pitch, which means the middle. Yeah, you got to be right on. But when I have an actual oscillation kind of playing around the pitch, yeah, I feel that it makes it so much easier to really sing in the center of a pitch. So if you haven't mastered your vibrato, it would totally be worth working on, because it could totally help you with intonation, especially when there's high and long pitches that are very intense and have a lot of pressure when it comes to subglottal pressure. I also have some videos talking about vibrato, and I will link them up in the description box. The next thing you can do that is the opposite of singing vibrato is singing straight pitches and trying to be as accurate as you can be. It would be really great to use a piano app like I have one right here. My piano app is called Virtuoso, and what I can do is I can just have a keyboard. If I don't have, I have one here, but if you don't have any instrument, you can just use the app and go. No, actually let me use the lower one. Yeah. What you will hear is that you can't just hear the pitch, but you can also feel it. When you actually sing the exact same pitch as that pitch that is playing, you can hear that those oscillations of that frequency, they really emit this oscillation that you can hear or you can feel it in your head as you're singing that same pitch. It's a really cool feeling. That's why it's really good to know how to play an instrument. I always play the melody line along on the piano so that I make sure I'm actually accurate on the pitch. The next thing that kind of expands on that is that you can sing in unison with another singer. It's a really cool feeling, singing in unison with another singer or even yourself. The more similar the timbre, the way the voice sounds is, the cooler that effect of that doubling is. That is a good way to practice and to really start not hearing but also feeling whether you're dead accurate on the pitch. And lastly, learn how to sing harmonies. Start with a third, singing the third above the actual melody line or the fifth, and sing a harmony. It's really going to help you train not only thinking in terms of melody, but also in terms of harmony, which is very important because as you are accompanied by other instruments or even other singers, if you're singing in a choir or maybe an a cappella group, you have to hear the harmony, and the harmony is going to help you have better intonation because your pitch has to fit into that harmony somewhere. There are some great resources even here on YouTube on how to sing harmony. I would totally check that out, and I would totally practice singing harmony. Maybe you can find a friend that you can sing with. And maybe what I always do is when I'm in the car and the radio's playing, I never sing the main voice, the leads. I always love when something's playing on the radio, I always love to hear the actual harmonies, and I love to sing a harmony along. That's so much more fun for me. So I hope these things helped you. Let me know down in the comments what your challenges are. Are you good on intonation, or are you struggling, or are you trying to improve? Are you doing something already to improve? Are you doing any of the things that I'd mentioned, or are you doing none? And if you have any more ways, please link it up below. I would love to know more. If you want to find some more motivation, consider buying my book, Master Your Voice. I will link it up below. It's available on Amazon. I also have an audiobook version, which is available on my website. Link is below. Have a most wonderful day. I'll see you soon. And don't forget to always keep on singing. Bye. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved us.